All right, everyone, we are going to get started. It is 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for giving a part of your evening to us so we can tell you a little bit about how camp is going to work this summer. My name is Tiffany Jocelyn. I am the director out at Camp Sargent. On the call as well, I have Randy Menken, who's our executive director over at the Westwood Park YMCA, and Meredith Sentes, who is our LIT director out at Camp Sargent this summer as well. Okay. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little box with two bubbles with a Q and an A. You can put all of your questions in that box, type them in, and at the end of the presentation, Meredith will read questions one by one, and we can get those answered for you. Before we get started, we understand there have been many challenges with our new registration system, PERSONIFY, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Ultimately, we believe it's going to be easier than our old system, but like with any other rollout of a new system, there's going to be some bumps along the way. So we really appreciate your patience with us. We'll talk more about PERSONIFY later in the presentation as well. We also want to address the fact that many people were not able to get into camp or the weeks that they desired, especially out at Camp Sargent. That's due to us having to reduce capacity to almost 50% with the guidelines that were presented to us by the state. However, we do have some really great camp offerings still available over at our Westwood Park YMCA. We have our All Ball program, which is going to be very similar to our program that we run at Sargent called Summer Fun. Yes, it will have some sports focus, but it will also have a bunch of other activities, going outside, arts and crafts, group games. So that camp is also going to be a lot of fun. And then we also have some availability still at our Merrimack location at our Camp Create, which is our specialty camps of arts and humanities-based programming. Okay. So I'm going to kick it over to Randy to get this presentation started.
Thanks, Tiff. Yes, so again, my name is Randy Menken. I'm the executive director over at the Westwood Park YMCA. And for the last a little over a year, I've been over at the Westwood Park Y. Before that, I was 12 years as the Camp Sargent director. So, are you having? There we go.
Yeah, it wasn't working for me.
Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to kind of give everyone a background to kind of what got us here today as far as what we're presenting to everybody in this town hall. So over the last 2.5 months or so, since the closure and the rise of everything COVID, we have been following the CDC very closely and recommendations. We've been working with YMCA of the USA, American Camp Association, ACA, which Camp Sargent is accredited under, and local and state health officials. So with all of that in mind, that's how we put together and what we put together as far as our process and policies and procedures for how we're gonna do things this summer. It is gonna certainly look and feel a bit different if you're familiar with years past as far as our camps, but the end goal, the result is still the same for us. That hasn't changed, which is to provide all the children with the absolute best camp experience that we can, a memorable camp experience for them. So that was there already before COVID, and it's going to remain afterwards. So some of the things we're going to talk about in this are as far as the mask policy. Campers will not have to wear a mask unless parents want their child to wear one, and then in that case, you're just going to notify one of the camp directors or the camp director that they're attending, and just make us aware of it. Every day, campers, all campers and all staff are going to have their temps checked, answer a very short questionnaire, and then sanitize their hands. That's going to be every day for all staff and campers at drop-off. And for the first 2 staff, because we've had this question also, for the first 2 staff that arrive to camp, they're going to take each other's temperatures and ask each other the questionnaire and then sanitize and then start the day. We're going to talk also a little bit about the arrival and departure process. That's going to be for Camp Sargent and for sports camp at the Westwood Parkway. That's going to be something that's going to be very new, and that's per COVID. It's something we've talked about in years past for Camp Sargent, but we're going to be doing a kind of a curbside drop off and pickup for ease for parents for sure as a convenience, but also to limit the amount of just folks kind of walking through camp or touching different things or coming into the lodge if folks don't need to. So we're going to be doing that. And then just on the right, you're going to see the camp contacts quite a bit throughout this presentation, and they're all over our website, so you can't miss them. If you don't get them today, that's okay. One other thing I just wanted to let everyone know, if you haven't already been on our website, if you go to nmymca.org, if you click the camp tab, we have a PDF with the frequently asked questions. It's a growing, working, very live document. So we're going to be adding to that in the next few days based on these town halls, and just as we learn new things, we're changing that. So just please check back from time to time. You don't need to necessarily do it, throughout the day, but it is important to just check back in the next week or so. If you're checking it today, just check back again. We want everyone to be as updated as possible. All right, so staff requirements. Like I was saying before about the checking in each day for the campers and the staff, what's going to be required for them. Staff are going to be, and this is per the state guidelines, staff, when possible, are going to be wearing masks. So any common spaces that they're in during check-in, check-out, they'll be wearing them because they're in close contact with parents, children. They won't wear them if there's like a physical activity happening where it's just not safe, or if they're more than 6 feet away. One of the big differences that you're going to certainly see, and how camp is going to feel and look a bit different than in years past, is the fact that camp groups are going to be together. They're going to be together all the time. They're not going to be kind of intermingling with other groups. So that's something that's very new for us in the camp world. That's just, it's not a normal, thing to do at camp or for kids, so we have a staff training that is going over a lot of different things COVID related and per the state guidelines, but it's something that we do anyway, always the week prior to camp. So that's going to be starting next week. Staff that aren't feeling well, we're going to be asking that they stay home. And let's see, so staff that are reporting any symptoms of COVID-19 or of coming close contact, they're asked to let their supervisor or the camp director know, and then we have guidelines that we're following as far as kind of next steps to take to notify the organization that we need to. I just talked about camp training. All staff are going to be attending that, and we have specific HR related trainings, particularly around COVID and returning to work. And then certainly the child care, state of New Hampshire, and then American Camp Association has some great trainings also that our staff, a lot of the staff have already started with their pre-camp training. Another big noticeable difference that you're gonna see is the group sizes. So again, this is per the state guidelines. We're gonna have a 1-to-9 ratio, or I should say no more than 1-to-9 ratio. And this is in place just to limit the chances, for any kind of spread. It's not certainly a perfect system, I guess, but it's what we have in place right now. If it changes, if any of this changes, we're going to adapt and we're going to change following the guidelines. So again, this just talks about the groups staying together, kind of like as a family or a pod, or how, whatever you want call it, but that's going to be from the moment the kids get to camp, at any of the camps they're attending, to the moment that they leave. They're going to always be with that same counselor and that same group of kids. Same thing with lunches and snacks, will be in the same area for all those same reasons. We're going to be outdoors as much as possible. That is not just because of COVID-19. That's something that in all of our camps, we do our best to be outside and have, you know, kids out enjoying the fresh air. For Westwood Park, it's going to be, there's some programs for our specialty camps that have to take place indoors, like basketball camp is one of them. But other than that, we're going to be doing our best to be outdoors, and that's for all 3 of our camps and the different facilities. Whenever it's not possible because of inclement weather, we'll come indoors, and we already have identified set spaces for each group, so there's no kind of clumping or grouping up, again, for all the reasons that I was saying above. And then just really just that there's going to be a lot of different hand washing stations, more than we've had before in some of our facilities. And we've already added a lot of sanitizing stations, and that's just we're going to be going over that every day, all day, just keeping as clean and disinfected as possible before we go to the next area with our counselors.
Great. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about PERSONIFY. We are in the process of switching over our member registration system and our program registration system. So I understand there's definitely bumps along the way. There's I know how frustrating it can be when you're trying to go into your accounts and access your information and download your stuff. We are working on it. We're working on the glitches that have happening. We're putting together a how-to sheet for everyone on how to update your authorized pickups, how to change your credit card information on there, how to upload your immunization records and your health information as well. So we're hoping to have that put together by the end of this week and posted on our website by Monday at the latest. And it will kind of break down all of those things. PERSONIFY, these are the items that it's supposed to be bringing you guys to make it easier and a better member experience for you. So program selection, greater visibility, billability, and pricing online. Multiple registration process. You can register for more than one program and one for more than one child at a time. Shopping cart, putting everything in it and checking out at the very end. Account management, and self information control, where you can go in and update your information, your email addresses, your passwords, all of that stuff on there. So like I said, I really appreciate everyone's patience with this. We should have more information in that how-to sheet, which will hopefully make everyone's lives a little bit easier moving forward. So if you're unable to upload your immunization records right now, do not worry. You still are able to come to camp, and we'll try to help you along the way and get you guys able to feel comfortable enough to upload that information. So stay tuned for that how-to sheet very soon. This is what we're doing to keep you guys and your campers a little bit safer. Enhanced cleaning. We increased our housekeeping staff in all of our locations. We'll have a full-time housekeeping person here at Camp Sargent this summer. Randy will have them at Westwood Park, and we'll also have them at our Merrimack Y facility as well. So increased hand sanitation stations all throughout the buildings. We have added about 8 different hand washing stations outside here at Camp Sargent, along with hand sanitizers all over the locations at every rainy day location, any program areas. Activity areas, equipment that will be clean and sanitized as best as possible during transition times, such as boating equipment, the playground equipment, all of that will get sanitized throughout the day. Staffing and group sizes, as Randy said, we're doing a 9-to-1 camper to staff ratio per state guidelines. They'll not be mixing with other groups. We're going to keep them in their little pods as they travel from place to place around camp. And we're going to do our best to keep your campers with the same counselors, camp counselors throughout their summer, and hopefully throughout, if they go from one camp to the other, we'll be able to transfer them back into the same groups. We're going to do our best to do that, but it's not a guarantee that it will happen from week to week, but we'll do our best. All employees and staff and volunteers and children and any guests that we have coming to camp will have their temperature checks every morning in health screening, and they'll have to wash their hands or sanitize upon arriving, okay? All of our employees, our staff are going to wear face coverings when it is possible, when they're not possibly around 6 feet away. We are following state guidelines on this. We are not requiring campers to wear face masks, but we are asking our staff to wear them. And then Randy said it earlier, increased staff training. We have added a special COVID-19 section on our staff trainings that they're completing before they can start working here this summer as well. And then, just like I said before, our new member service and management software, PERSONIFY, which we will hopefully have some more info for you and help you better navigate in the next couple days. And just as a reminder, if you guys have any questions, you can post them right into that Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. All right, back to you, Randy.
All right, thanks. So some specific COVID-19 related changes that we've made. We've talked about some of these now we're going to get into now. Bus transportation. We're not going to be offering busing for this summer. There's a couple reasons for it. The main reason though is we're not able to keep everybody in the same groups and with the same counselors that they'll be with during the day if they're taking the bus. There's just too many opportunities for cross-contamination. That coupled with the bus guidelines and the state guidelines, we wouldn't be able to serve very many kids. So there, like I said, there's a mixture of reasons, and those are them. So we're not going to be offering bus transportation for this summer. Camp hours, again, this is going to be one of the bigger changes that we're making for this summer. And it goes in line with what we've been saying and is sort of the theme here, which is keeping the groups together and the counselor with the same kid or with only that group of kids for the entire day and for the whole week. And hopefully, like Tiff said, from week to week, when they return to that same camp, we're going to do our best to keep them with the same group of kids and counselor they were already with. Whenever we can, we're going to do that. So with that said, the camp hours are going to change for this year. It's going to be 8 a.m. You can drop off as early as 8 a.m. and then pick up as late as 5:30 p.m. So those of you that are familiar with our pre and post camp, we're not technically offering the pre and post, the additional camp there, and the additional fee. This is just the 8 a.m. to 5:30 is going to be part of the tuition. So the camp day itself will still be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we do ask, just so the kids can get a full program's worth of the day, that you do your best to not pick up, to not drop off after 9 a.m. and to not pick up before 4 p.m. If you can. And then lastly, swim lessons. So swim lessons take place at Camp Sargent for those that want that additional program, and it is an additional fee typically, but for very similar reasons with being able to limit or being able to control the spread and limiting the spread, and just for safety reasons, and to be within the camp day, which is 5:30. I'm sorry, which is not to be before 5:30. We're not going to be offering the swim lesson. So again, that's only Camp Sargent, and Camp Sargent will still be offering rec swim during the day. Just the swim lessons won't be happening, which normally would have been between 4 and 6 p.m. Masks we've talked about, and then drop off pickup is that kind of curbside system. We're going to be doing at all 3 locations, And again, the big reason for this is to do our part to help limit the spread of COVID-19 and just potential of folks just touching more things than need be and just kind of cross-contaminating. So when we can do our best to control that, we're going to. All right, so health checks, we talked again about what on a daily basis, what's going to happen with campers and all staff. They're going to have their temperatures taken, complete the, it's just a verbal questionnaire, a few questions, and then get some sanitizer and then go right in with their group. Keeping clean, and these are things that the staff can help out. I'm sorry, the adults and the staff can all help out with to help keep everybody safe at camp. Just keep clean. Please try and touch as few things as possible if you do have to come in to one of our facilities for any reason that you can't do the curbside drop off and pick up. Just do your best, please, to keep clean. Keep your distance. We do ask that everyone respects the social distance guidelines that we're doing our best to follow. And it only works if everyone's taking part in that. So, and then really staying home if your camper is sick. This is the same thing we're asking of staff to please stay home if your child has any of the symptoms or has a fever or just isn't feeling well. You know, it's best to keep them home, just again to help limit the spread. Wearing a mask, and this goes kind of in line with a few different things, but again, this is specifically for parents. If you absolutely have to come in to the facilities during the camp day or when you're picking up or dropping off, please just know that you will be asked to wear a mask. So just know that ahead of time, and we appreciate your patience and understanding with that. And then really lastly, this is new for all of us. Just, you know, we do ask as we're navigating through this to, you know, please work with us. Our job is to keep your children safe while they're at camp, and our job as directors is to keep everybody, including the staff and campers and parents, everyone safe. So ahead of time, we really appreciate your patience and understanding. And we look forward to working with you guys to get through this. So it looks like we do have a few more questions, so that's good. Again, we're going to be getting into questions in a minute. So yeah, just follow the Q&A at the bottom and type in your question. So lastly, again, just summer camp points of contact. And please log on to nmymca.org and click on camps, and you're going to see the frequently asked questions there. There's more information about PERSONIFY and some FAQs on PERSONIFY as well. So just check back when you can to the website just for more information, as it is going to be, the FAQs for camp are going to be updated. As we have new additions, we're going to be updating them. All right, so.
Great. Let's pass it over to Meredith to start
Meredith.
asking the questions.
All right. So the first questions that we have is, if registered for Camp Sargent or any of the camps earlier this year through DAXCO, do I need to register my camper again?
No, all of our camp registrations did go over to PERSONIFY, so you do not need to register again. If for some reason you you log into your PERSONIFY account and do not see your camps there, do not sweat. Just send me or Randy an email and we can check the registrations for you and get that fixed for you. Some of them we're manually having to enter, so that might not be quite in there right at this moment. But if you registered in DAXCO, you paid your deposits, you're good to go.
Next question. Can we request a counselor? Our son has a good connection with one of the counselors. Will he have that counselor again?
I can't guarantee, just based on age groups and what our counselors sign up for. If it's in the same age group as your camper, you can definitely request that, and we can try our best to make it happen.
Next question. How are you managing the selective activities? if the groups are staying together and each kid wants to do something different?
If I believe you're talking about the free choice period, I'm assuming it's free choice. Unfortunately, this summer we are not offering free choice period, so they will not have that choice time. However, they will have choice in their day through other program areas on different activities that they can participate in. But that's that free choice thing or period that they used to sign up for at Camp Sargent that won't be offered this summer.
Right. For immunizations and doctor's records, this is my first time sending my child to the Y summer camp. He turned 6 during COVID and has not had his annual exam. I've had records from last year, but how recent do those need to be, and will he need to see the doctor before he comes?
Nope, as long as the physical has been in the last 2 years.
What week will camp start according to the registration? My children are signed up for a specialty camp, which states that it starts week 2. However, the start date is the 22nd of June, which is the first day of camp. Will they start the specialty camp per the registration date, or will the dates be pushed back?
Nope, all registration dates are the same. So Brixology does start on 6/22. So it technically is week 1 of camp, but it would have been our week 2 because week 1 has been canceled.
How will you handle rainy days at Camp Sargent? From what I can understand, that can create a situation with many kids in the same area.
Great question. So for this year, we really based and focused our capacity on what we could do for a rainy day. So we took all rainy days into account. Each group has its own rainy day location. So we'll have a group up in our cabin. Each group will have its own space. The only shared spaces, which isn't really shared, we're just dividing them with with shower curtain liners and different barriers. We'll have a couple groups in the rec hall because that is a large enough space that we're able to separate. But as far as anyone else, everywhere else around camp, each group will have its own location to meet at.
Next question. If my children are going to Camp Sargent for a few different weeks through the summer, not the whole summer, will they have the same group and counselor?
Yes, we are going to try to keep our same groups and counselors as best as we can for the summer. We can't guarantee it, but we're going to try our best.
So for Camp Sargent, will there still be an opportunity for a camper to sign up for the daily special?
No, we are not doing free choice this year.
There we go. This is our first time at Camp Sargent. Is there a map to show the parents the layout of the camp?
Yes, I believe it's on the Camp Sargent website. We do have a hand-drawn map that would show you that. If for some reason you can't find it on the website, shoot me an email and I can try to send you just a lay of the land kind of thing. Also, I believe on our frequently asked questions, it does show a map overview of Camp Sargent for our drop-off and pickup procedures as well.
Along those lines, what will the children be doing at drop-off? For instance, if I drop off early, 8 a.m., will there be an activity, or will they be separated waiting for their group to arrive? If so, that would prompt me to want to drop off later.
So drop off is between 8 and 9. Once they get a few campers that are in their group, they'll move to their kind of hangout location that they will have at camp, where they can drop their stuff, and we'll have activities going, enrichment activities with their counselor as well. So there'll be board games, cards, GIMP, a whole bunch of different things that they can choose to participate in while they wait for their group to arrive.
So for pickup, how will you know which kids to send to the car, or do we get out of the car? Will you be taking makes and models and plates to identify people who are allowed to pick up? Should we have signs with the kids' names?
You can definitely put a sign with your child's name in your window if you'd like. We will also have, we're using at Camp Sargent, we're using a walkie-talkie system. They will be with their group, and we will call for the campers once we check and verify whoever's picking up with their authorized pickup and their ID. So with that said, pickup is it's going to be a process, and we definitely need your support and patience with that as we navigate this new kind of world of doing it this way.
All right, next up, will there be swimming at Merrimack for Camp Create?
Yes, there will be swimming for Camp Create in Merrimack. Yep.
Next question, how will campers be grouped together? Will you try to keep campers from the same family in one group or grouped by age?
They're going to be grouped by their age group and grade they're going into in the fall.
If I registered for weeks that I will not be using, how will I go about canceling?
You can contact Odalina Picardo. She is our camp administrator, and she can help you with cancellation of any weeks that you need canceling.
Next one, how does pickup and drop off work? Is there a pattern we follow?
Yes, and those are right on our FAQ sheets. If you log into on our website, those FAQ questions that Randy had pointed out, you can log in there and you can see the layout and what we're going to do. For Camp Sargent, you're going to enter in our old entrance and exit. You'll enter there, and you'll make kind of a horseshoe and exit through our dirt road over by the small cabin that's on the front field. But there are diagrams in that FAQ sheet Randy had mentioned.
Are specialty camps still running?
Yes, all specialty camps as of right now are still running.
If COVID cases increase, which make us uncomfortable, and we take our child at a summer camp, will we still have to pay for the whole summer?
Nope, you can call and cancel any weeks that you need to cancel, and any deposits you paid, you can either leave as a system credit on your account at the Y, or we can refund you for those.
Can we register for additional weeks now, or is registration closed?
Registration is still open. I can tell you Camp Sargent is mostly waitlisted right now, but we do have some fantastic camps over at Westwood Park, and those are primarily sports-based. We do have All Ball, which is going to be a similar situation as our summer fun at Sargent. And then we also have some availability at Camp Create and Merrimack, which are our arts-based focused camps.
Can we request that our children be in the same group as a friend?
Yep, we will do our best to make that happen. You just need to send us an email with that request, and as long as they're in the same age group, we can try our best to make that happen.
Okay, I'm gonna break down this question. Okay. Are there going to be out-of-state children at camp?
Sorry.
Yeah, I can answer that. So there's a possibility. We're not denying any children, let's say from Massachusetts, like Chelmsford or Kingsborough, that are coming. We are just asking that that parents follow the New Hampshire state guidelines for day camp, which is that they're asking that families self-quarantine for a minimum of 14 days before attending New Hampshire camp. So those are the guidelines that we're asking folks to follow. Let's see, is everyone going to social distance? If so, how? The programs this year are everything is pretty modified, to meet the needs of what we have to do for social distancing, to keep everybody safe and to help limit the possibilities of the spread. It's not foolproof system. Not a perfect system. It's but again, using the different organizations that we've been working with and alongside, we feel that they're as thorough as we can make them, while still trying to create a positive experience for each camp. The number 3, are you confident in saying the children would be okay being around grandparents while attending camp? So we can't say for sure. that the answer is yes or that the answer is no. What we can promise is that we're doing everything we can to follow the local and state guidelines that are in place to keep everybody safe. Again, it's not going to be 100%. There's no 100% guarantee out there. We're doing our very best, though, to follow the guidelines that are in place to limit the spread. But as far as answering that, really, that's personal preference. That's your own choice. We can't matter-of-factly say yes or no. Back to you, Meredith. Sorry.
In the absence of pre and post camp, if the hours don't work for my schedule, will deposit refunds be issued?
Yes, yep, we will take care of that for you. Just reach out to Odalina and she can take care of that for you.
Is the cost the same and will be withdrawn each week as usual?
Yep, the cost is the same as when you first registered. The only thing is if you registered for pre and post camp or bus or swim lessons, you won't have that cost on your daily payment or your weekly payment, I'm sorry.
For the weeks missed that have passed, will there be reimbursement?
Yep, for week 1, they will be, the only other week that we had running would be week 1, which is supposed to start next week, and no one has been drafted or has paid for that minus their deposits. Any deposits paid for week 1 will be returned and put towards another additional weeks of camp.
So looking for a little bit more specific, how are you managing the in and out of the parking lot with one way in and out? Is it already a bit of traffic jam and now we must stay in our cars?
Yep, so we're gonna have one entrance and one exit. So it's not the same as it typically was. Before, it was one entrance in and the same exit. This year, you're coming in through our old exit or entrance. You're coming in through that way and you're looping onto the dirt road across the front field and out by the small cabin in the house, which is another exit. So you're making like a giant horseshoe. And again, there is a diagram of all of our drop-off procedures on that FAQ sheet that Randy talked about on our website as well.
Will we need to get out of the car with our mask and ID for our kids?
No. Nope, you'll show it to us through your window.
Are paid classes restarting and when can we register for them?
Sure. I am not 100% sure on when classes are starting at the Y. We're primarily focused on our camp stuff for this town hall.
Will breakfast and snacks be provided to the kids?
Out at Camp Sargent, we do not provide any snacks. Since Merrimack is part of our licensed childcare program, they do provide a morning and afternoon snack.
Can our 5-year-old and our 8-year-old be in the same group?
Unfortunately, no. We keep our age groups pretty strict out at camp.
And that's the same question from the chat. So that's it.
Perfect. So if there are no more questions, like Randy said, all of our frequently asked questions are on our website, and that list is a working document, so we are updating that as we get more questions from members and campers. So just take a look at there. You can always shoot us an email and let us know if you need any other assistance. And like I said, we're hoping to have that personified document with the how-tos no later than Monday, and that will also be posted on our website as well.
All right, well, thank you all for your time. We really appreciate it. And please reach out to us if you have any further questions. If there's anything that's not answered for you on the FAQs, please reach out to us. We want everyone feeling as comfortable as possible, you know, as we all kind of navigate our way through things this summer. So again, thank you very much for your time tonight and your patience and understanding and working with us through this. We're looking forward to this summer and looking forward to all those campers' smiles. So thanks a lot and have a great night.
Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.